case if they say to me, hey dude, you can only choose one of them will happen and the other won't happen. PoE 1 326, PoE 2 0.2. Hey, you already know what I am going to answer, dude. Hey guys, I have this video here from Matil that is called Thoughts on PoE 1 versus 2 and my first build. I'll be honest, I already watched this video. I normally, when I react to a video with you guys, I never watched the video previously and I give you my first reaction all the time. I already watched the video because I was working. This video was recommended to me. I watched it and I liked it. And I said, I want to talk about this with my guys. So I want to watch it with them, you know. So let's do that. We are not going to watch the whole video. We are going to watch the part that concerns to us, which is the thoughts on PoE 1 versus 2. He also talks about the build that he's playing. We in this moment don't care about that. We care about the conversation on PoE 1 versus 2. That is what I wanted to share with you guys. So let's dive right into it. We are going on that part of the video.
Just want to change tact a little bit and talk a bit more about the PoE 1, PoE 2 thing, because lots of people ask me, how am I liking PoE 1 after coming back from PoE 2, and, you know, do I miss things from PoE 2? Does this game need stuff?
I miss a lot of things from PoE 2. For example, WESD, I believe it is like the first thing that everybody will tell you that they miss. And the other thing that I miss a lot, the links. The fucking links in this shit are going to drive me crazy.
Stuff from PoE 2, you know, pros, cons, whatever the fuck. So just real quick, I did want to talk a bit about that, and let's start with, for the most part, I do like both games for their own respective sort of strengths versus...
That is the base take, by the way. That is the base take. I like both. Both has strong things and weak things. We go from there. That is base, dude.
The weaknesses. So the strength in PoE 1 is definitely still just how big it is, how versatile stuff is, how much stuff there is to do, how many builds there are to play, the crafting. Overall, just a much more well fleshed out game compared to PoE 2. So it's still got that strength. It's still very much basically the leader of the ARPG genre, and I don't think that's really changed. The only sort of downside at the moment coming back is that it's not really a new league, it's not really new content. So if you were kind of done with PoE before and waiting for more, you're probably still kind of done. You do get...
Well, that is not a problem for me because, as you guys know, this is like the first time I go deep in PoE 1, so I was not done with this league or any league for that matter. So this is not a con for me in PoE 1, dude. So thank God for that.
New ascendancies, which, you know, you can fuck around with, and it's pretty fun to, you know, do some different kind of theory crafting. But at the end of the day, the meta hasn't really changed too much, and there isn't new content for you to do. So it's definitely doesn't feel strictly like a new league start to me, and has, you know, a bit more to be desired. But yeah, it still is what it is. Still PoE 1. It's still a great game, and if you've never tried it, there is going to be a very large amount of PoE for you to discover and enjoy. If you're coming from a PoE 2 perspective, then it should...
I am in that process. I am like that. I am playing the game and I don't understand shit and I am just discovering everything like the first time I played PoE 2. Dude, over 60% of you are not subscribed. Why? Why are you like this, dude? Just click the button. It is easy. It is free. It is quick. You get content. I get a sub. Win-win situation. Just click the button, my dude.
It'd be pretty easy to get into now since you're fairly familiar with how the game works and the systems. There's just a lot of them.
That is true. Like PoE 1 has a lot more things and a lot of things you have to understand. But since PoE 2 eases you into them, when you come back to PoE 1, it is not like the game is easy by any means, but it is easier than it was before because you have certain understanding about certain things, which is really cool.
And there's just lots to discover and lots to do. So focus on what's in front of you, slowly chip away at it, and you should have plenty of fun. So coming from PoE 2, some of the things that I do miss that was pretty immediately apparent, as many other people have said, is the identify scroll stuff. So I don't hate the identify system still. I think it's completely fine, and throughout most of the campaign it's actually pretty fine. But
you don't mind the identifying system. It sucks even in PoE 2, dude. Like, in PoE 1 is even worse, but in PoE 2 it also sucks. Why are you forcing me to click on the fucking hooded one to get a fucking... to identify the items? That shouldn't exist, dude. It should just give me the item identified. Why are we in the year of our Lord 2025 identifying items, dude? Just drop the item identified. I don't have to click on the dude to identify the items. This is stupid. This will also help. This doesn't only save me time and annoyance, but it also helps the loot filters hide or show stuff based on the actual affixes that things have, like it happens in Last Epoch. Why the fuck are we identifying shit? This is the stupidest thing in the world. It is stupid in PoE 2, and it is even stupider in PoE 1.
By the time you get to maps, you do get pretty overwhelmed with loot, and still just having individual identify scrolls for the amount of loot that we get actually now coming from PoE 2 really does feel archaic as fuck and like a thing of not.
It is archaic in PoE 2 also, but he's right, dude. I know that he's right in the sense that, okay, you come from a map. You have the inventory full of items, unidentified items. You just click the hooded one, everything is identified. You don't care about this. Here in PoE 1, you have to identify everything if you have enough scrolls, that I believe most people have. And if not, you have to decide what to identify and what to not identify. It is like, dude, why are we doing this in the year of our Lord, bro?
Even the past, because like I also played Diablo 2 just recently a bit, and that 25 or so years ago had a identify all deck
and it was
cane
stupid
sort of
then
thing.
too.
And in PoE 2,
has always
now
been stupid.
you're very used to finishing a map, going to your Doriani, snap, identifying everything, and coming back to PoE 1, it really feels pretty inexcusable to still have this as a system, and I think I'm willing to die on this hill at this point because, like...
And let me tell you something, Matthew. They will never implement that in PoE 1. Let me tell you. Just know that it won't happen. That's a layer of suspense. It's part of gambling and psychology, and although you don't want to admit it, it is more dopamine to reveal something like a scratch cards. We talked about this the other day. Like, there are some items in very, very end game, like some jewels or some stuff. I don't remember. I know that it happens with some jewels, but it also happens with other items that people sell on the trade side unidentified. And unidentified it has a value. Let's say that unidentified this jewel costs 5 divines. When you identify it, you can get a range of affixes, right? There are some affixes that if you identify the jewel and you get that affix, then the price shoots up to 10 divines, 20 divines, 50 divines. But people sell it unidentified because there are also other affixes that make it worthless, and then you won't get even 1 divine. So you get the drop and you don't identify it, you sell it like that, and the person that buys it assumes the gambling. They gamble. Now, I do think that is a cool interaction. But let's be honest in here, guys. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen with the 99.9% of items in the game. It just happens to a few select pinnacle content items. If we want to keep that cool interaction, we can make those items identifiable. But identifying a rare that drops randomly in a map, there is no layer of suspense in that, brother. That is just annoying, bro, in my opinion, dude. Again, it will help with the loot filters. It will be less annoying. Like, it is a lot better not having to identify the majority of items. I agree with you that there are some items that we should keep with the identifying system because of what I mentioned that I think is really cool.
Prior to,
basically, what I am telling is that you can make this selectively. Not every item has to have this system. You can select where we are going to take this, I don't know, 5% of items in the game, and we are going to keep the identification system for them, and we remove it for everything else. In my opinion, because it is annoying, it is extra time, blah, blah, blah. You know. But I get what you are saying, and you made me remember that scenario.
Doing PoE 2, it was kind of an annoyance, but something I was willing to put up with because it was like always just the way it was, right? Coming back to this from the luxury of that, it just feels wrong. Like, what? There's no reason for it anymore in this sort of end game where there's so much loot and there's just so much little micromanaged clicking and then vendoring. So yeah, the identify scroll thing, I think it's kind of a big one. WASD, I do miss WASD. I did enjoy playing around with it.
Of course, dude, of course. That was the first thing I said. WASD is too much of a win, dude. Like, the first time I started playing here in PoE 2, in PoE 1, the first thing I did was click W. Because I wanted to move with that, and immediately I realized I couldn't move like that. That was the first thing. True, I don't think it adds a lot of value to gameplay, but people like gambling, lol. It's not much of a problem in PoE 2 because of the system, though. Yeah, I understand you. In PoE 1, it is much more evident because of what Matthew is saying in here, that you have to click every single item, which is bullshit, dude. That gamble, if you are lucky, you can double corrupt them with alpha content and get ultra rich if you are very lucky. Exactly. That, and again, there are people that just buy that shit and identify it to gamble and then get rich. But also you can and probably will lose your money, which is part of the fun, right? So I do think it is cool that they keep that element, but like for a random rare that you get in a map, that doesn't exist. I'm still a point and click guy. So you are playing point and click in PoE 2. I'll be honest, I started like when I got the game in PoE 2 and I just spawned, I chose point and click because in Diablo 4 you play point and click. I don't know if Last Epoch has WASD, but I played Last Epoch with point and click. And the times I wanted to play PoE 1, of course you have to play point and click. So when I started PoE 2, when they ask you at the start of the game, what do you want, WASD or point and click? I chose point and click. But with all the things that people saying, hey, WASD feels awesome, WASD feels awesome, I said, you know what? I am going to try WASD, I am going to learn it, and I am going to see. Brother, and when you put WASD and you try and you learn that shit, it is a whole new world. Like, it feels so much better. You can cast abilities while moving. You can do a lot of shit that point and click, it is basically impossible to do with point and click. You can do it with WASD. So, you can play, of course, however you want, but I would encourage you to at least try the WASD until you get a little bit comfortable and try how it feels, you know. I like WASD on melee, though. Brother, and a lot of people play the other way around. Like, they play melee with point and click and range with WASD because you can move and shoot and stuff like that. It's just that you press both movement skills with one hand. I prefer controller or point and click. Hey, controller feels really good. You know why I don't play with controller PoE 2? I would play with controller. I don't do it because when you want to manage like your inventory or your passing tree or shit like that, you have to do it with the controller. If I could seamlessly use controller and mouse and keyboard for the other shit, I will do it because I am sitting here with the controller. Hey, I am going to use the points or I am manage inventory, whatever. I use mouse. Then I would play with controller because controller feels really good in PoE 2.
And it also enabled one thing that I think is superior for this sort of genre. And that is the cast while moving. It solves the problem of several channel skills and playstyles and stuff just being bad by standing still all the time. So yeah, WASD combined with the fact that you get to cast while move, I think is definitely missing. I don't think it's ever going to come to PoE 1, and they're just going to be different that way because PoE 2 was built from the ground up to have WASD and WASD combat. Whereas this, if you just implement it, I think it'll be kind of weird anyway. So yeah, that's the two main things I absolutely miss. PoE 2 otherwise just has a very polished sort of feel to it for the animations, the spells,
That is true. That like, you can say a lot of cool things about PoE 1 over PoE 2. But one thing, and it is obvious that it's going to be one that way, like this is nothing revolutionary, right? It is obvious that the new 2025 or 2024 game has better graphics, right? The game is beautiful, guys, let's be honest. The game in PoE 2 is a beautiful fucking game. The way the characters move feel a lot better, like it is smoother. It is not, it not only looks better in terms of graphics, but the game is also smoother, you know? Like the feeling of the movement of your characters is a lot more fluid, it's cooler. Like in PoE 1, I am playing the game right now and the characters work funny. In PoE 2, it is a lot cooler, dude, for example. Now, another thing that I like more in PoE 2, like, you have to understand, I am right now in Act 3 of PoE 1, right? So I am not in the cool part of PoE 1. Because people always say PoE 1 is better because of the end game. I am not in the end game. So I cannot tell you, or I can't tell you yet, that, hey, yes, PoE is a better game, the one because of the end game or whatever, because I have not experienced that. So, in what I have experienced so far, which is Act 3, versus what I have in PoE 2, I have to be honest, guys, and I know this is going to piss a lot of people off, and they will tell, well, you don't know anything because you're a noob or whatever. I am liking PoE 2 more. I am a PoE 2 Andy so far. But, hey, let me get to the end game. Let me enjoy the end game, and then maybe I will have a different opinion. But I think this doesn't have to be a competition either. This can be, or what I hope it is, hey, I like both games. I think this is cooler in this aspect. I think this is cooler in these other aspects. And when JGG figures things out and they stagger releases, we play both games and we go from 1 to 2, from 1 to 2, from 1 to 2, and everything is cool. Bro, PoE 2 feel fucking amazing. I am so hooked, Lord. I do like PoE 1 Atlas experience better, to be honest. I got 1,600 plus hours in PoE 1 and I got 200 hours in PoE 2 so far. Yes, bro, like, I am fucking addicted to PoE 2. Like, you know it. I am playing PoE 1 because of the event. And I'll be honest, guys, I am having tons of fun. I am not playing PoE 1 thinking, hey, I should go to PoE 2 because this is bullshit. No. I am playing this game. I am enjoying it. Everything is cool, dude. But I am also addicted to PoE 2 because the game is fucking awesome, dude. So, both games are cool, dude. Both games are cool. PoE 2 isn't a complete game yet, so who knows how exactly it will feel when it's fully released. That is also truth. But that I feel that is a plus for PoE 2 because if I am addicted to the game right now, where it is 20 to 30% completed and it is far away from completion, when it is completed, it will be like insane, the best fucking game ever, you know? Or maybe they just fuck it up.
Mobs. So absolutely, just the much more modern graphics and stuff, and then also the campaign. I do think the campaign is just pretty far superior to PoE 1, and going through that is more enjoyable. Yes, it's got some pretty big zones, but overall, it's after playing the PoE 1 campaign so many times, I'm still pretty much ready to go through the PoE 2 campaign a bit more at the moment, at the very least. So, as far as I can think, that's mostly like kind of the pros and cons. PoE 2 still has a lot of work to be done to be, a big game, an actual proper game.
It is true. And the end game, we know that if you compare it to PoE 1, that like PoE 1 dwarfs PoE 2 in terms of end game. That is true. Everyone knows it. But again, PoE 2 is far away from completion. Let's wait and see what happens. And on top of that, there will come the leaks.
Game, because it's like, fucking 20% of the way there or something for all its content to be out, whereas this one, PoE 1, is an absolute behemoth. Yeah,
it is
the Ascendancy behemoth of a game, which just at this point could utilize some of the quality of life and some of the stuff from PoE 2. So I think at the moment it feels like both games exist in their own right and should do so for their own strengths and weaknesses. But I do also think that going forward we're going to see some more impact and bleeding over from both games towards the other game, just for
and I do think it will happen. At least we know it will happen a lot from PoE 1 to PoE 2. For example, PoE 2 will import a lot of things that PoE 1 has, that they already know that work and are good. And I am not talking only about classes, because we know that some classes that are already in PoE 1 are guaranteed coming to PoE 2. But I think that there are some things. For example, earlier today, I discovered for the first time a league mechanic in PoE 1. I was just playing, and I found something called the Blight. Hey, dude, that mechanic is fucking cool. The dudes come and you build like a tower defense, and you have to build your little towers and defend that shit. I love that mechanic. Now I want that shit to be in PoE 2. I would feel really bad if we don't get Blight in PoE 2, you know. Now, and I am sure we will get it at some point. We will for sure get Blight in PoE 2, or at least I hope so. So stuff like that, I think it will cross-pollinate. Now, will they bring stuff from PoE 2 to PoE 1? I don't know if they will do that. I don't know if they will do that because I think that the PoE 1 player base is a lot more like they already like their game like it is. They don't want PoE to bullshit in their game, you know. So I don't know if GGG will do that and maybe probably mess with their established player base for this game, you know. So let's see what actually happens. But it will be cool, like the cool, and also because maybe people want the differentiation. If you start to cross-pollinate too much, then you homogenize the two games, and then why do you have two separate games if you are going to apply the same mechanics in both of them, you know? I do think there are some cool things that should be in both games, but there are other things that allow the games to be two separate games, you know?
Figuring things out for what's right for the individual sort of games and their play styles. So I do expect some stuff to come to PoE 1, like the ID scroll stuff, and I expect plenty of stuff from PoE 1 to kind of still work its way over to PoE 2. So yeah, that's just kind of settling the debate for you there. As far as things are concerned, I would really love a 3.26, which has like a big PoE 1 expansion sort of thing, with lots of new content. Because at the moment, that's kind of what I'm feeling I need for PoE 1. But I'm actually still really looking forward to the PoE 2 thing, and I'd probably rather that at the moment. If you made me
choose. Based, fucking based. If they say to me, hey dude, you can only choose one of them will happen and the other won't happen. PoE 1 326, PoE 2 0.2. Hey, you already know what I am going to answer, dude. Give me the PoE 2 1. Give me the PoE 2 1 for sure, brother. By the way, another thing that I don't know if I mentioned it, and if I mentioned it, I completely forgot, and I am sorry. Another thing that I think that PoE 2 has on top of PoE 1 is the campaign. The campaign is the story and the campaign, brother. Everything goes smoother in PoE 2. You understand what is happening. The bosses are cooler. The zones are cooler. The campaign is cooler. And again, I have not experienced endgame in PoE 1, and I know for a fact that is the reason why everyone agrees that PoE 1 is better, because it has a robust endgame. So don't destroy me because of glazing PoE 2 so much. Plus, I started with PoE 2, so it always holds that special place in your heart. The same way that people that started with PoE 1 have PoE 1 in that special place, you know? Just hope that whatever tweaks they do in PoE 2 so far don't mess things up for the other acts when we get them. I agree completely with you. And I hope this next patch adds acts. I don't want, brother, I will be honest. I hate running at 1, 2, 3 again in Cruel. I hate it. Like, I deal with it because you have to do it. And I don't want to bash it because I understand that it's temporal and it's circumstantial because they don't have the other acts ready. So I am not mad. I understand the situation. But I hate it. I hate to have to do it, you know. I deal with it. I don't complain. I do it, but I hate it. So my hope is that they introduce the new acts so we don't have to deal with that shit anymore. So the sooner the better for me that they introduce new acts, you know.
I'd rather a big content thing for PoE 2, but I'd welcome both at the moment. I'm kind of more on the kind of done and burnt out phase with both of them while waiting for new stuff.
And that is because he already played the PoE 1, right? But since I am new in PoE 1, I am not burnt out in PoE 1 and I can enjoy it still. And I am still hooked in PoE 2, so I am fine with the two games. Imagine that. Thank God.
That said, I'm still going to try and get into this event and see if we can make a few builds and cook up some ascendancies and stuff. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but I think there's a pretty good chance that I can get into a bit more of a deeper feeling with the new ascendancies here and some builds that maybe I've been looking at trying that just haven't had a chance to get around to, but with a new spin. So with that, let me just go ahead and show you what my character right now looks like.
Okay, that was the part that I wanted to show you guys. Now he's going to show like his build that he's playing in PoE 1. That was not the part. I wanted to talk with you guys about PoE 2 versus PoE 1 and his opinion, and we talk about the things that he say, right? So someone that is big in PoE 1 like Matthew would still would prefer, it is not that he wouldn't like the 326, he would also love that, of course he would. But if he has to choose, he would choose the new content for PoE 2, which I believe it is awesome, dude. I like that he's embracing the new thing. And he's not like fixating in the past like a lot of other content creators for PoE 2 that are adamant like, no, PoE 2 sucks and PoE 1 is the shit. I like that he likes both games because I think that is the best approach. Why don't like both games? I understand that when you don't like something, you don't like it, you know? Like, I don't know if it has happened to you at some point in your life when you like a girl and she doesn't like you, and then there is another girl that likes you, but you don't like her. And you wish inside of you, I wish I would like this girl because she likes me. But you simply don't. You simply don't, you know? And I understand that that happens to a lot of people. That they want to like PoE 2 or they want to like PoE 1 and they can't. I understand that situation. But it is the best situation, the coolest situation is when you like both of them. And I am trying to get to that point, and that is why I am playing PoE 1 right now, because I want to get to the point where I like both games. I already like PoE 2, so what I have to do right now is get to like PoE 1, you know. But it was an awesome video. Thank you, Matthew, for the video. I agree with a lot of the things he said in there. I have a lot more things to say about PoE 1 versus PoE 2, but I will wait. I won't make the video talking about it until I get to the end game in PoE 1. When I experience the end game and I do a lot of stuff, tier 15, pinnacle bosses, whatever, then I will make my own video talking about PoE 1 versus PoE 2, but not in a my video won't be in a confrontational way, like, oh, this game is better, this game. I will just talk about what I think are the strong points and weak points in each game, because I don't want a war between the two games. I want a community between the two games, but we prefer some things on each, you know. What do you guys think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I a clown? Am I a genius? Let me know everything in the comments below. I love reading comments even when they don't agree with me. Also remember to like the video, to subscribe to the channel, all that cool stuff. Guys, thanks for being here. You guys are fucking awesome. God bless you. And remember, don't be afraid ever, because this is just a ride.